And my mum was sitting, he said, is everything okay? I said, yes, Ami, I think they're talking about some captaincy. They've made me a captain. So my mother said to me, very simple mother, and she said to me, but you're a commander. Baharo khiza, kam nigahon ke vehem, bure ya bhale, sab zamane tere. These are all illusions, I am blessed, and I do keep on reminding myself that, Durdana, never forget that. Whoever has made you, those people who have helped you to be where you are today, the day you feel that your hands are not sweating, you'll become a bad broadcaster.
Exactly.
प्यार कोई बोल नहीं, प्यार आवाज नहीं, एक खामोशी है, सुनती है, कहा करती है. And there was like time for 10 years. I was told not to sing. Pressure is always there because I love challenges. I cannot have a day off. My mother always say, when are you going to sit down? Starting something is sometimes easy and it looks great, grand, but how do you sustain it? I think that's where most of us fail, because when we lose things, only then we realize, I wish I had taken it seriously. Keep a very light and enlightened world inside you, in your heart. Bring those lights in. How it happens, you've got to create them. But isn't that wonderful when we work together? And this is why I work with all people coming from all walks of life, from any language, any religion, any caste. These are all हमने अपनी बनाई हुई हैं. It's about DURDANA ANSARI.
Okay. Autobiography?
Autobiography.
Oh.
There are moments, Ershad, many of these moments come in my life and say, God, Durdana, I think you're disgusting. I think, you could do better. Come on, wake up. But you've got to connect with yourself. Connect with your soul. Connect with your heart. Connect with the people. Durdana, you've got to go and sell yourself. And I was like, no. Looking for something better is a quality. We do not recognize people, their souls, their origins, who they are. I must have worn my same sari, 3 times or 4 times, or maybe 10 years ago, say, oh, Popo, you were wearing the same sari at my wedding. Or was I? I don't even remember. Whoever you are, you're beautiful. We like showing off.
Yeah.
Which is, yes, it's nice. I like to show, something nice colors. But please don't overdo it. If I do not communicate with my child, they will forget you. He will forget you. She will forget you. I try not to cry anymore, but it's there. You do cry. You're a human being. Simplicity is not always a quality. You've got to have big hearts. My Nani Amma never, if you're counting chapatis, she will slap me and say, don't count chapatis. Ye aarzu jawa jawa ye chandni धुआं धुआं.
Welcome to the podcast series, Knowing Who You Are. I hope you're having a great time today. I mean, even though you have a very hectic schedule, as we all know, because you have been appointed, I think in July, Honorary Captain now of Royal Navy. So how's life now? Any changes?
I think the kind of life I've lived for many, many years, they've always been a turning point, a big change, always been a big change. I was always thrown into a deep end. So it was never easier. I don't remember filling out an application form for a job. So I think I was one of those fortunate people.
Very lucky.
Very, very lucky. And I really want to remember that all the time.
But I'd like to add in this connection that it's not that everything fell on your lap just like that. You had to work really hard.
40 years, 40, 45, 46 years I've been in this country, in London, in UK. And for the first few years, I didn't even know who I am. I still, maybe sometime I'm still exploring and finding out who I am. But yes, obviously this new honor, this new award, this new honor from Her Majesty the Queen and the Royal Navy, mind-blowing kind of thing.
Definitely.
When the letter came, and usually the letter when it comes from palace or from armed forces or somewhere big, they're mostly yellowish color, and they've got the writing of the ink is green, and the moment you look at it, there is something in it, because I've received few. I've been very fortunate by the grace of God, but this time it came by email. So emails are always falling onto you, in day out.
Yeah.
And
part of daily modern life, I guess.
Exactly, and I think it's the case with everyone. So I and especially if it's coming from the First Sea Lord, there must be. And I just kept on reading it, and my mum was sitting. He said, "Is everything okay?" I said, "Yes, Ami. I think they're talking about some captaincy. They've made me a captain." So my mother said to me, very simple mother, and she said to me, "But you're a commander." I said, "Yes, Ami, I am a commander."
You're demoted to a captain.
Demoted. It's just like, in the villages, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, you go say, "Your son has become colonel." So the simple mother says, "Colonel? What is colonel?"
Why not major?
No. It's a big name. He's become a subedar. Oh, shabash beta, bahut umda. So my mother was like, really? Okay, so you become a captain now.
Okay.
You're a captain now. Are you still going to wash my bathroom?
Oh my God.
So that's something. So it's
or make my morning tea.
It's amazing. I always do that.
Okay.
I've always done that, as whether I was wherever,
sweet.
whichever. I've always done, and I think I've been very lucky that I have the privilege out of my 5 siblings, all of us, that I got the opportunity to spend time with my parents, much more than what my other siblings are doing. So I've been, again, very lucky. So becoming a captain, I had to pinch myself a few times to say, really? I still sometimes call myself a commander, or in my emails, in my signatures are, commanders. I have to somehow delete it and then type it. Sometimes it just goes as commander.
It's almost like when a new year comes, then we still keep on writing the same year.
Bilkul. It's just like that. So becoming a captain, I think it's every time you get more awards, all these big names, you have more responsibility on your shoulders. So I just think about, okay, what next? What should I do next? What am I supposed to do? People are actually looking up to you all the time, and they expect something, in return. So my concentration is mostly, yes, the stripes or strips were added. So there was 2, and then 3, and then 4. So it's just, you just look at them and you think, oh my God, you are blessed. I am blessed. And I do keep on reminding myself that, Durdana, never forget that. Whoever has made you, those people who have helped you to be where you are today, do not forget those.
Always
people.
stay grounded. Stick
around and make sure that you still value them. So yes, it's a big thing, and and everybody's calling me a captain now, an honorary captain. And recently Daniel Craig, lovely 007 James Bond has become our counterpart. So we are very privileged. Someone said to me, oh, he's going to call you ma'am.
Yeah.
So, which is like, oh, you're looking at James Bond and you think,
have you been invited to the premiere on the 30th?
No, don't ask me. No. But it's just amazing.
Okay. So you started your journey in the UK in broadcasting in 1985. From the point onwards, then in 2006, one of the MPs, he had given you this responsibility of organizing a program probably for 100 women. And from that point onwards, it was just 100, which grew out to 9,000 in 2012. And then you received your OBE. So that journey, did you plan for it, or how did it happen? Was it like, I'll just provide my service, or it was, no, some people have this ambition or this particular pathway or the goal they follow, that, okay, this is my vision, one day I want to be this. What did you have in your mind?
I certainly never had that vision in my mind. And to be honest with you, where I'm sitting today, that vision was never there. However, they say sky's the limit. I've always kind of carried on. I never plan so much. I never think, okay, 6 months' time, this is what I'm going to do. If somebody says, let's do that. And now I have to check my diary. I cannot work, sometimes I double book people. So I never thought that I'm going to be here where I'm sitting. And I'm so pleased with saying that I feel very, I would say, content now. And whatever I do it with full faith. Let's put it this way. I am focused. I never, whenever I've got quite a few boxes in my head.
Yeah.
And imaginary boxes that I create. I feel that I create those boxes. And I want to make sure that whichever box I'm in, I'm simply doing justice.
What are the boxes?
To that
So
box.
if you could share a few of those.
For instance, your family. Yes. Your everyday job, your home, the people, the communities, and the professional people that you work with, your image, whatever it is, you've got to make sure that you do not, we make mistakes, anybody makes mistakes, but I feel now at this stage of my life that there's no room left to make a mistake. Although we will do that, I know I will still make a mistake, but now मैं जैसे 2 कदम पीछे हट के, you look at a canvas when you're painting and you say, oh, I think I should try it. So before I hit the send button of an email, I will read it 10 times.
Do you believe in doing the homework properly?
Homework, I think that's my BBC training. That's my BBC training, that research was essential. You just couldn't get away. And you needed to know and understand the story fully.
But even if you have, say, for example, you've done a mistake and it happens, as you said, you can't avoid it. How do you deal with it?
For instance, when I started first in 1988, I'm in the English service world today, and I was asked that, what if there's a very senior person, interviewee, those times was very, very crucial times for the regions and for the whole world. And if the interviewee hasn't, the voice is crackling and the microphone is now, what would you do in that sense? You've got this very important person, for instance, a president of a country. I said, I will not run that interview. Because there's no point sending a wrong message to your audiences as opposed to getting this.
Even after if it's recorded and you didn't realize it. Okay.
But then once you record it, if it's going live, then you will have to wind up.
Okay.
Because what happens sometimes that you hear, you're from the media, we see bad qualities, we see bad sounds, bad pictures, but they still carry on. That is something, you're sending a bad message. You're sending a wrong news. You're sending a wrong, completely out of proportion, a thing that
compromising with quality. You're making
quality.
It okay. Yeah.
So the quality has to be absolutely immaculate. So when I try and do whatever task I choose or whatever's been given to me, I want to make sure that I try and check it 10 times before it actually goes out. So that is something which I think I've been trained. A clock is in my head at always. Like, you've got to finish a story in 28 seconds. So you have to make sure that the way you will prepare that story, meaning you will convey the message fully, but at the same time, the speed or whatever it is, it has to be precise. I do try not to let people down. This is something that, again, would come into that box. I think it's check and balance, really. It's every single day you're waking up, new morning. What am I doing today? What am I supposed to do? How should I start my day? Or maybe you have planned it, because I don't think I'm a great planner.
Okay.
I believe in the planning, which happens, in my destiny. And I wake up, and if I have something in my mind, if I have to write something, I'll just wake up in the middle of the night and I'll start doing it there and then. Otherwise, I'll forget. There's so much happening. So many things are, because you don't want to be confused. You want to be clear in your head. So my mind, I think, is always very clear. The clarity is there.
Okay.
Clarity is there, and I want to make sure that, you know, your whatever work that or task you're doing, I want to make sure that, you know, present it in a way that it's coming. It's your name, it's your integrity, it's the people's faith in you, the trust in you, the belief that you have in yourself. That cannot go wrong now. If I did that 20 years ago, I mean, for instance, I was interviewing Dilip Kumar Sahab.
Yeah.
And that was my very beginning of my doing
It's still
interviews.
available on YouTube for people to watch. It was really a nice interview.
I'll tell you about that. But some of the interviews, I've got them in audio. And yes, some of them are there, some of them. So all of a sudden, I think I'm a casual when I'm talking to anybody, really. It's a head of a state, or I'm speaking to somebody sitting in the street. So it's like everybody's got they've got their own ways. So this is the way I am. And when I went to see Dilip Kumar Sahab, bless his soul, I hope, and I was looking at his portrait. A huge portrait is one of his walls, and Sara Banu Sahiba was sitting beautifully, and he was, I mean, as far as I can, that was about 20 years ago now. So, and my heart was literally popping out, and I was trying to show that I'm not bothered, you know, it's okay, I'm coming from the BBC, DURDANA ANSARI, but in back of my mind and in my heart, it was Dilip Kumar, that, you know, somebody, a real icon. And
how many years into your broadcasting profession at the time when you were
that
taking
was
interview?
about, you will be good 10 years.
Okay.
And I was, you know, I'm glad that you asked me this question. Once I asked during a transmission, live transmission, that I said to my colleague, I said, I don't know, whenever I'm start the red light is on, I've got sweaty palms, sweaty hands. When is it going to get better? And that was about 15 years into the BBC.
I think it's a sense in you of maintaining quality.
And he said to me, the day you feel that, you know, your hands are not sweating, you'll become a bad broadcaster.
Exactly.
So it is always, whenever I'm going on stage, I'm used to it. I'm used to television. I'm used to camera. But still, you know, there's some sort of...
You respect the expectations of your listeners, audience.
And I think I just love this life. I love the people. I love what they do. So it is just giving that something, you know, you are, what repercussions you could say. You want to give something back in a nice way. So coming back to Dilip Kumar Sahab's picture, and I was just pretending as if I'm literally engrossed into the painting, and he just appears. And he said, "Oh, tum aa gayi ho." The way as if I was, you know, because I knew him through his sisters.
Okay.
So, and all the time they said, why don't you speak to him on the phone? In my mind, I thought, no, one day I will speak to him directly. I'm not going to speak to him through you. So I wasn't even with the BBC at that time. Very young girl. But this passion was there that one day, this amazing thought and this amazing dream that I had, I was always a dreamer, that one day I will see Dilip Kumar Sahab. And imagine that person comes in and he says, "Tum kya kar rahe ho?" I say, "I'm looking at your picture. I wish you had wore the same color socks as well as your suit." And I said that, and he looked at me as if, who is this woman? Who's this girl who's just... And he laughed. He said, "Tum bahut shararti lagti ho." I said, "Hoon to sahi main." And this is how we hit off, you know, our conversation and for years we were talking to each other, and it was such a blessing to...
Was it during his later years of his life?
Well, yeah. I mean, of course. I was very little when he used to come. But he was still somebody, a scholar, not just the artist. So that day, and I must have, I very rarely write my questions. It comes, you know, when they say that, you know, questions are always taken from your, or answers are always picked from your questions. So I was maybe trained that way, but in my mind, and I must have asked a wrong question. Or maybe he did. Said, "Ladki, तुम्हें अपना homework करके आना चाहिए था."
Oh my God.
I was like, oh my God, definitely I edited that. But it was something that, it hits you and said, never again. You have to make sure that you're on top of it.
But how did you carry on after that
Oh,
comment?
I carried on.
Okay.
Carried on. Never run away. Never run away.
Good lesson.
Oh, yes. But definitely with a lesson. And never be overconfident. You should never be no matter how many years. I mean, it doesn't mean that if you had a long experience, doesn't mean you're good as well. Experience doesn't mean that you become very good as well.
You always learn something new.
You always. So somebody said to me, so you are going to retire now? I said, no, I've just started my life. I'm just starting something new.
No, the new idea is that people say that you should not plan the retirement. Say after 50 years or 60 years of your lifetime, you should have mini retirements every now and then, but make a plan of learning throughout your life till the end. Because the idea was back in the days, my parents, your parents, you work, after a certain age you retire, after that you just sit down and read papers in the morning and have cup of tea, and lunch and dinner and go to bed.
I don't see myself doing ever. It is something that I just
it shows in your career trajectory, as we can see, and we don't know where you're going next after that.
I mean, I don't get those gaps.
Yeah.
I did have a huge gap when I first came to this country, and I was told that you are a woman now. You must behave like a daughter-in-law. You must behave like a Pakistani girl. So I used to wonder, how does a Pakistani girl behave?
People around you, that's what they said?
Yes, people. Okay. When you came to a Western world, this is what you had to hear, that you must behave like a Pakistani girl. So I used to wonder why.
Sorry to interrupt you. Brings me to the question: what shaped you to all the ideas and all the ideologies and also your philosophy? What shaped you? Was it your childhood? Was there any influences in your life when you're growing up? Those are the people that made you to this point. Now you feel that you probably have known yourself a little bit now? You discovered yourself?
I don't think so. I mean, I was married at the age of 16.
Okay.
I was an artist. I was a singer. Wow. I was a dancer as well, against my, family wish as well. So all I used to do is draw. I was a dreamer. All I used to do, illustrations and beautiful books after books, copies after copies. That's what I used to do all afternoons.
Do you still do any?
I recently did some,
great.
But I think I've given it to my daughter now. I've transferred, or maybe.
I would like to apologize because I keep on interrupting here and there because it's so interesting your life. So if I don't
know whether I'm telling you
I'm just
in a
scared
way
that
of interesting.
If you lose the train of thought, but I have to add those questions here and there so people, because when they're listening, they might be like, oh yeah, Ershad, ask that question if she's still doing it. We'd like to see that because you sing still, we know. So yeah, please carry on.
Like, and there was like time for 10 years. I was told not to sing. A girl's voice should not go outside, So, and I became that person. I thought, this is my life. My first child was born hard of hearing. And I thought, that's it, my life was finished. I was a child having a child kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So we were growing together. And one day I realized that I need to be stronger to be able to give her that confidence that because obviously in those days, we had simple days. That's how I think every child would, not every child, but some people would remember their childhood as they were naive. But I stayed on naive for a long time. I don't know whether those elements are still there. I feel it, that there are moments when I say, oh my God, I should have said that. But in those days, I was a girl guide. I used to sing on stage. They would say, the morning doesn't start if DURDANA's voice is not heard. And that's how. And my head teacher said to my father, how can you marry her off at such a tender age? The voice is gone now. The words wouldn't come to us, or something like that. But I don't think I ever planned it, or I thought when I was married, I didn't see that transformation. The transformation was happening, but I didn't feel it.
Okay.
I didn't think that I was okay, I was growing up, or my life was. Now I think, and I look back and say, oh my God, you know, how did that happen? And I wish somebody was there to say, Durdana, this is the right track. Do not go that way. You will fail or you will win. Or 10 years later, this is what you should see yourself. This is why I want to make sure that I am truthful to myself. That whenever I see a young person, I don't want to give them advice after advice like all the elders do, mostly, especially in our custom. But if they want to hear it, listen, I think this is your way. If you go this way, you might get better, circumstances and also results as well. But if I were, I am loving my life now. I cherish every moment of my life.
Beautiful thing, very good.
I don't want to think about, I wish I did that. I very rarely, I don't remember saying that. Or if it's raining, in Britain it rains most of the time, but I don't remember a single day or a single moment when I said, oh, what a horrible weather. Because I believe that baharo khiza kam nigahon ke wahm. Baharo khiza kam nigahon ke wahm. Bure ya bhale sab zamane tere. These are all illusions,
Yeah.
These are all part, all these winter and all the mosams, all the weathers. They're just illusions of our mind. It is what's
looking for the possibilities and everything.
It is what's in here. That's how the weather should, it should kind of appear before you.
That's very nice. So how's your inner child doing now? That inner child you had?
Well, very much there. I don't want to kill that child.
Very good.
There are moments when my family say, Ammi, stop it. Ammi, please, we are laughing. We're going just like, they don't go shopping with me because they know that I'm going to crack a joke on someone. So, no, as I said, Ershad, I'm loving this moment. I don't know whatever you're asking me or whatever. As I said, I don't plan.
Exactly.
I just go in it. I just fall into it. And I said, okay, now let's see, can I swim or not? If not, then somebody will tell me, no, don't do that. But I try and I learn from you, Ershad. You're such a perfectionist. I've always admired you the way anything that you do. But the thing is that when people are trusting you, when they have faith in you, when they think that, oh, if this woman is here, she's coming on stage, there must be something useful that she will tell us. So that is a scary bit, that when people start trusting you and they have faith in you, you need to make sure, how do you
deal with that
you
pressure?
Can't go wrong. Pressure is always there because I love challenges. I cannot have a day off. My mother always say, when are you going to sit down? Like I'm sitting down here, but I'm here. I've got hundreds of things going. Everything is but hopefully they're all been tackled. And love to delegate work as well to make sure that you're not. But it is a matter of somehow leading it as well. And you need to make sure that nothing goes wrong. Results are persistent. If you are persistent, starting something is sometimes easy and it looks great, grand, but how do you sustain it? I think that's where most of us fail, because we do not know. We're starting something big, amazing thing, a lot of money or whatever, with grand, celebrations, but you can't sustain it. You were talking about that project that in the BBC, I never thought I'm going to go anywhere else. I was a broadcaster, a producer, creating stories. Stories is something that is always, I can create a story, with 2 lines. You give me 2 lines and I'll create a story, an interesting story. But then what do you do after that? You after working for 22 years with the BBC, United Nations, or, something bigger. And one day, when you're thinking like that, the universe is working around you. The nature is, it listening. Somebody's hearing you.
But doesn't it happen every now and then that you find yourself a little overwhelmed, that it's too much or something? We are human, and it's an organic process that every now and then, no matter however stronger we are or we have become, that it would happen. So how do you deal with those moments? What do you do?
It's been happening lately. And it has happened before as well. Every time I was at a stage, I thought, oh my God, this is the peak.
New challenge.
This is a new challenge. As I said to you, I love taking challenges. But the thing is that you've got to, again, those boxes, you've got to keep those boxes in your head. As they say, when you're going, approaching a roundabout, just create an imaginary lane. That's what I remember from my driving instructor saying to me. So how do I make an imaginary lane? That's when we learn to make those. Okay,
very well said.
If I turn left, I don't want to. I do not like walking in darkness. I just want to have that light within me.
Beautiful.
It's something that we don't expect things. It's a one-way system. Sometimes it's a one-way system. And it's like, I want to be prepared for that. I won't plan it. But if something happens, I've got a plan B. I've got a plan C as well. And as good as plan A. So that is something, it's an everyday thing. It's an everyday juggle. Every day you're fighting with it. You're fighting within yourself. And I do feel overwhelmed sometimes because I'm not a natural person. Superhuman. But when I think like that, Ershad, you asked me this, that is the moment I said, no, what if these things were snatched away from me? Because when we lose things, only then we realize, I wish I had taken it seriously. So why can't we do that now, as opposed to, I hate regretting.
It's
Regrets
about appreciating
are there.
What you have.
It's about appreciating what we have. You always think, oh, she's living on the other side, because the other side is always green, isn't it?
Yeah.
So whoever is listening or watching, keep a very enlightened world inside you, in your heart. Bring those lights in. How it happens, you've got to create them. It's not going to, nobody's going to come and knock at your door to say, are you unhappy today? Can we bring some happiness for you? Trust me, you will be very fortunate if you have that. It might be a bonus for you, but it doesn't happen all the time.
So it's not that happiness is not the goal. It's a process.
It's the process.
Yeah.
Manzil is not everything. It's the rasta. The rasta, enjoy them. Uske turning jo hai, uska har rasta, uska har mod ko kaho, wow. And what if I bring some more colors in it? मेरी जिंदगी सुबह से शाम तक ऐसी है. मैं एक चीज़ सोचती हूँ, दूसरे कलर्स आ जाते हैं. अच्छा आज ये कर लें, अच्छा आज इसको इस तरह कर लें. फिर उसका it becomes so fruitful. And then do it in a combined way, rather than just you yourself being a leader. I love it when people praise me, praise my work, what I do. But isn't that wonderful when we work together? And this is why I work with all people coming from all walks of life, from any language, any religion, any caste. These are all हमने अपनी बनाई हुई हैं. हमने खुद create की हुई है, self-created one. You remember in those monsoon days, when we go out and you see some colors, I don't know, we used to wonder, my God, those lovely rainbow colors. These are the colors. That is how we should combine. Yes, keep your culture, but bring all those colors in. Make a rainbow out of all these colors.
While you're saying that we should appreciate what we have, say for example, one day everything that you have, it's in just a I would say imaginary world, because the way you work and how diligent you are, I don't think a moment would come you just keep on achieving more and more. But if it happens that everything is gone, how would you deal with it? I know it's hard to think sitting now, but...
No, for that moment, I have prepared myself mentally. Thinking that if I'm not saying financial-wise, this is nothing about that. It's about your emotions. It's about your physical. What if something happens to me tomorrow?
But it can be applied in everything,
it can,
I think.
for anybody. So I am prepared for that. What I have seen, what the world has shown me, leaving a legacy behind, I would think at least I didn't went through this world without doing anything or without searching, and try and train those people who are around you, or not even training them, just passing on to the next generation that is because it's a I mean, it's a journey that one day it has to end.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that whatever you're doing, somebody is actually taking some sort of advantage of that. Somebody who's actually carrying it on, and it's just like taking that the torch of Olympic. Everyone is carrying that torch over there, and then handing it over to the next person. I think, and then while you've got that torch in your hand, try and hold it firmly. Try and hold it with great harmony and feel proud, and make sure that, okay, the next person is going to, take it from me, take some of my work or some of my, lessons or my qualities.
It's about
or whatever.
the legacy.
It's about the legacy that once I go from here, I think about those moments. That when I'm not here, how people are going to talk about me, or maybe the book that I am writing, that I would like to make sure that I write in English. So the next generation. I mean, like,
what is it about, the book?
It's about DURDANA ANSARI.
Okay. Autobiography?
Autobiography.
Oh, perfect.
You didn't hear that, did you?
No.
All of them.
Okay.
Everyone heard that. So somebody, like Javed Siddiqui, who's the screenplay writer for more than 100 Bollywood films, and he kept on telling me, Durdana, when is that day going to come? I said, Javed Saab, he said, I cannot believe it that you are not writing a book. So it's like essential for me. Somebody has said, you've got to write. So I said, fine, I will. But I've got that writer's block, you would say that, because there's so much happening. When I have free time, I'm doing something. See, every day I'm sitting and I've got these paragraphs in my mind. I'm going to do that. Or I can create a story. I can really, really write it 3-4 pages. But then I get to do so many other things.
But not about the subject that you're thinking about.
No.
That you're feeling that I can't write. Just write about that. Whatever you feel. Like it's like
nice.
Spiritual windshield wiper. That's what they call it. So wipe the windshield in the morning, early in the morning. And you're feeling like, I can't even write. I mean, this is what I'm feeling like. Just write about that. And take that away, get that flow going.
That's an amazing
Because
thing,
we sit down and we
so
think
much.
about...
See, I learned this from you.
I mean, I feel that we should practice that every now and then. And this is a very good practice.
Yeah, how bad I am.
Yeah, if you're feeling
how
that...
How bad I am.
Yeah.
There are moments, Ershad, many of these moments come in my life and say, God, Durdana, I think you're disgusting. I think, you could do better. Come on, wake up.
Then what do you do? I mean, do you beat yourself up or forgive and...
I try and, do better things. It carries on for some time. It definitely carries on. And they say, that wasn't worth it. That wasn't worth worrying about. But rather than worrying about it, I might as well just try and fix it.
Good.
So next time I'll do, okay, see, Durdana has done it.
So these negative aspects of life, definitely everywhere around, at workplace, people around you, in the community, everywhere we face this negativity. Even this is the negative thought, the negative voices in our mind. Every now and then when you feel like, okay, say for example, when you're going to give a speech, now as you've been dubbed as a motivational speaker by the Royal Navy as well, which you do quite often. So whenever you're faced with this negativity, how do you say, for example, when you say even yourself, you're saying that I'm so bad, what I have done is not right. How do you deal with this?
I try and go and do some good deeds. And I connect with Allah. That is my way of talking to the Almighty or the Spirit that I believe in. And trust me, there are moments when I say, oh God, everywhere is darkness. I can't see it. It's just gone. I just don't know which way to go. Can you please help me and show me that light? Ershad, trust me. Next thing, I'm all thinking clearly. Things are happening nicely. People are kind to you. It's just so spiritual that you feel, oh my God, really? Is this so easy? Just like that? But you've got to connect with yourself, connect with your soul, connect with your heart, connect with the people that you believe in.
How do you connect with your soul or yourself?
Like this.
Do you meditate?
I'm very much connected with my soul right now because this is who I am. It's not that if I'm sitting in front of a prime minister or a little child, I'm exactly the same. What I do not like doing is letting somebody down. If I have promised someone, I make sure, whether to a child or to somebody, whoever authorities,
Well, I can attest to
deliver.
that you're legendary for keeping your time. If you're saying you're always an hour early.
I can scare people as well, you know.
So what about negative people? I mean, we definitely face, it's not anyone particular, but negative forces rather, that every now and then makes you doubt yourself or take you off track. How do you deal with this or deal with them?
I try and concentrate on the positive people more, or positivity, as opposed to, yes, they do bother you. It's not, I'm not saying that, but you can avoid that mentally. You know, you got to make sure that no matter how many times you hear some negative comments, for instance, or you become so sensitive. You see, working in those sort of areas, and especially working in the world and traveling, and I mean, alone in the BBC World Service, we had 42 languages. So imagine people from all over the world, and all genuinely big people. So you tend to get that. And then I think at the same time, I think naturally it's in you as well. It's the kind of thing that you are sensitive. You're an artist. You have a good heart. When you have a good heart, you want to you feel that everybody carries the same kind of heart. But that's not true. So, you know, everybody's different.
That's a nice quote about this one. You can't change your friends, but you can change your friends.
Of course.
It's really, I feel that. I mean,
and there were moments like, oh, so it's okay, it doesn't matter, been my friend, he's been my friend for so long, it doesn't matter. No, do not carry on with negativity. The vibes.
Because since you can't change that person,
you can't.
But you can always choose to not to be with that person.
And you don't have to be rude.
Yeah.
See, the other thing is that don't get affected, or don't show the world. You know, it's like bullying. A child is getting bullied at school or at a college or in-laws or family or neighbors. Act as if it has not affected you. So the other person will hopefully back off, because the more they know these kind of people, they know that it is affecting you, the more they will attack you or, you know, behave weirdly. So best thing is to carry on doing the good job. Keep the positivity in your body,
yourself,
in your loving.
that's...
I never knew how to love myself.
True.
It was Alan Johnston, the amazing my colleague in the world today, and a great journalist. I said to Alan, why should I go and show people that who I am and why am I so good at it? I said, Durdana, a very soft voice, Durdana, you've got to go and sell yourself. And I was like, no, you can't do that.
That's selfish.
That's selfish. And how can you do that? But trust me, how right he was. And I would tell him again, Alan, that I quoted you here, that learn to sell yourself. How do we do that? Just pick those points you feel that they're good in you. Okay, you're a good cook. You can do very good embroidery. You are a very good person. You're a very good wife. You're a very good mother. You don't have to be a leader of some sort of an organization to be a good person.
Be grateful for all the good things.
But be grateful. But problem is that there are people who are maybe, around us, amongst us. I could be like that one day. That we feel, oh my God, this is not enough for me. Which is great. Looking for something better is a quality. That dream should carry on, Today I got silver, tomorrow I'll get the gold. Once I got the gold, then let's get the diamond. So keep that in you. And diamonds could be in the shape of many things. Your lovely children around you.
Very
communicating
nice. Very well said.
communicating with your family. If you feel you're lonely, come out of your soul. Come out of within, just go and connect with people. Because these are the real energies for you. We don't realize that the people are the real energy for us.
Since you mentioned that, this is one of the things, especially in Asian communities, I have seen since I come from Bangladeshi background, you're from Pakistan. We have this thing about confusing our self-identity with our profession. Say, for example, when someone is introduced, oh, he's a doctor, he's a lawyer. I mean, it's not Ershad, it's not Durdana, it's what you are. Oh, she's a captain. So how do you, because the idea, as you mentioned about silver, gold, diamond, for them it's literally the material itself that you have to get in your life, rather than, how you say, just to look in different, from different perspective. It could be your family, it could be your partner, it could be your friends. So how do you see that one, and do you see that restlessness? Because I see all the time, everywhere I go, especially within the community, here in England as well, in Bangladesh, when I go back home, I see people talk in terms of, the first conversation starts with, what do you do? How much do you earn? And things like that.
I think that's is very, it's an irony, I feel. We do not recognize people, their souls, their origins, you know, who they are. And what quality should we pick out of that person to be enhance your own qualities, you know? Because you obviously connect with people for a reason. Because you like someone, and you like someone for some reason. So pick those nice reasons, as opposed to say, which car is he coming, you know, stepped out of, or what sort of designer shoes. I don't, to be honest with you personally, I go onto big stages. But I must have worn my same sari, you know, 3 times or 4 times. Or maybe 10 years ago say, oh, Popo, you were wearing the same sari at my wedding. Or was I? I don't even remember. So I love dressing up. It doesn't mean that, but it doesn't mean that that is, again, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, in India, I'm saying to, and this is something, a topic that I love discussing about. Do we realize how much time and how much effort and how much money that we spend on a wedding? Dresses, okay? 6 months are gone. Imagine the 6 months of your life. We could have done even more, something more productive in the, rather than, this is what I'm going to wear. Yes, do wear, but please do not spend so much time on it. Don't tire yourself out.
Exactly.
On that, whoever you are, you're beautiful. You know, I've got a small bag of makeup. Whenever I go, and I'm shy, I'm really embarrassed to show it to anyone, because people might think that, you know, I go to a beauty parlor to make sure, which is great. It is their business. It is their, I hope they flourish.
She's become poor.
Oh, she's become very poor. She was wearing the same shoes. I don't even remember whether So please save that energy for something even more creative. And doesn't mean if you don't have money, but you've got to, like Ershad, you're just saying that we like showing off.
Yeah.
Which is, yes, it's nice. I like to show, you know, something nice colors, but please don't overdo it. I'm saying it, please do not tire yourself, but do not, that is the whole environment that we are damaging. It's a serious matter that it happens in Pakistan, or maybe if you're spending 1,000 rupees in Pakistan, you will spend 1,000 pound here. That is the difference. So can you imagine? People are taking loans to get married, which is again, I'm sorry but this is an everyday thing that, please, you know, try and somehow just mellow down a bit.
Because it affects their well-being. So even few years down the line, even after the wedding, then you're still paying that debt that you have taken.
And think about, you know, and then you're getting divorces.
Exactly.
So many divorces.
Even before you have paid the debts sometimes,
exactly.
Unfortunately.
So really celebrate it. I love celebrating.
Exactly.
I love celebrating happiness. But we can do it with little things. Celebrating a happiness doesn't mean you have to put a lot of money in.
Exactly.
And that is a thing we need to remember to move forward and teach our children the same thing, because they are watching you. On top of that, make sure young mothers, young fathers, please make sure your kids are not sitting on this social media, which is the horrendous thing that is happening to this technology is amazing, but what the negative effect that it is having on our children, you have no idea which way we are
It's basically
going.
the usage of it, because we have come to this generation now, we love things more than people.
Yeah.
So we are all, it's always about the things we have in our lives.
Also because a mother doesn't want to spend time with her
Exactly.
child. That is also because it's easier. I'm cooking right now. Have take my phone. And that child is literally,
You
focused.
see, a mother is pushing a buggy and the kid is with the phone.
Kid is with the phone. And I see that day in, day out. And that really hurts me because I work closely with communities, work with people, with parents, with mentors. Also, talking about mentors. Create mentors. Create leaders. These generations, that's why my heart cries out for them. We need to create more leaders. Doesn't mean I have become who I am today. There's not going to be another one. Please follow. If I've done something right, follow my footstep. Because you don't know what's around the corner.
So in terms of leadership, do you feel your civilian life, whatever you have learned all these years in broadcasting and being a community leader yourself as well, has it been overlapping, same kind of quality you need, or you have to learn something new skill that you have to acquire?
It has become a trifle.
Okay.
I would say all sorts of colors. I'm not a great fan of trifle, but it has become. But then again, you've got layers. You've got layers, separate layers, and you need to make sure that all the colors are, you can see it, but they are together.
Yeah.
So every color is like fresh, and you can eat, layer by layer, but make sure that everything is fresh. Everything is made the way it's not like a month ago we put the jelly in and then fruit is somewhere, you store them in a cupboard. So you're making a mess of it. And it's not easy to combine things. But it's very difficult. But again, those boxes. Remember, this is how mind works. Otherwise, I'll collapse. I will literally collapse one day.
So if you have the opportunity to go back in time and see yourself or meet the 20-year-old Durdana, would you tell her?
What do you mean by 20-year-old Durdana? That was only by 10 years ago.
Exactly. So
Yes.
even if you go back 10 years, say for example, what would you tell her to do differently? Anything that you feel that you could have done differently?
Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. And don't think I'm a child. If these circumstances have been imposed on you, arranged marriages and all that, don't become part of that muffled kind of thing, become okay, recognize yourself, recognize your circumstances, recognize your surroundings. Don't think, I'm naive, I don't know what's happening. You will fail.
Would there be same kind of advice you would like to give to a girl who's coming to a womanhood in Pakistan, growing up in Pakistan or in the UK?
Or getting married to a person
Especially
in the UK.
an Asian woman.
Make sure, yes. No, even mothers, I would say, or parents, talk to your children. We do not communicate with our children, or children don't communicate. I mean, usually parents are complaining that children are not talking to them. I think it's both ways. And communication, in those days when I was growing up, if sitting at a dining table was like, your grandmother, your mamujan, all of them were sitting, and you're learning, you're getting that culture. You don't realize it, but you're actually learning it, how to walk, how to speak, how to talk. You see, our culture is such a rich culture that pick the nice thing. So in whichever culture you've chosen to come here, or you've been sent there, whatever, get the best out of every culture.
But I think this communication, every time we say that, we can't just, as you said, it's a two-way process. We can't blame the youngsters as well.
No.
Because their culture, where they're growing up, I mean, it's a totally different environment. They are growing up with everything virtual. So you see, they grow up with the iPads in their hand,
But
phone
learn
in their
their
hand.
culture.
Exactly. We have to know how to communicate with them as
Exactly.
well.
If I do not communicate with my child, they will forget you. He will forget you. She will forget you. be in their world, but don't impose on them.
Exactly.
Do
Be
not,
adaptive.
be adaptive. And it's like, don't tell them you become a doctor, otherwise you're not my child, or you marry this girl, otherwise you're not my son. Respect them, respect their wishes, give them, and also sense of trust as well. You know, a child, I don't remember if somebody said, oh, she's just great and she's a great girl and she can do this. I didn't hear that in my childhood, seriously. But we did have mentors, like Mamu was a mentor, my Mamujan, who introduced me to the best scholars, you know, the writers, the authors at the age of 12. So you think that it's happening, but these are legendaries. These people, you know, they are around. Find your mentors around you. They will be next door neighbor, you know, and just be careful who you connect with.
Interesting is even the mentors, they do have their own mentors too.
Yes, exactly. Mentoring is, it could be your mother, your father, your elder sister or brother, or a teacher. But find those. You must have the ability to locate, to understand, to recognize those qualities in other people.
No, this is what I've found. I've been saying this one for a long time. I mean, for you, that you have at the same time been a mentor for me, but at the same time a very good friend as well. I mean, I could learn from. So very thankful to have you in my life. As you mentioned about mentor and how your Mamujan, your uncle, had inspired you to be around the scholars, and definitely your love for literature, poetry, everything, definitely he probably had an influence on you in that respect. So what had shaped that appreciation for literature and also for music that you still sing and you have a beautiful voice which would share with the listeners today and the audience? So when did you start, or how did you get inspired to follow that path?
I used to listen to radio programs. Radio was something which was in my soul. It has been in my soul. I never knew that I'll be part of the radio, especially the BBC World Service, which I'm very grateful. Wherever I go, BBC is my platform that I will always cherish. I will be grateful as well. Of course, you have ups and downs, and you learn from it, but hard. They teach you the hard way. But the thing is that before you said that if I go back into my 20 years, 30 years, 40 years ago, sometimes I see myself. I see, you know, sometimes don't remember what sort of skin I have got now. I just see the skin that I had 20 years ago, or the way the giggle, the laughter. I think I still laugh the same way. I try not to cry anymore, but it's there. You know, you do cry, you're a human being. But I wish I had more awareness. Not because today's 16-year-old child has got much more awareness. True. Because they're much more clever, they're much more exposure, not just in this country, but back home as well. But I wish my mother was a simple woman. I wish simplicity is not always a quality. You know, you've got to have the awareness. You've got to be aware of your surroundings. You've got to be aware of who those people are, who have the negative vibes or the positive vibes. That should be taught to a child. All those proses, you know, they must be read out to them to say, my kids in Britain, they speak perfect Urdu. And I talk to them they call it Mahavra. It's like, I try and relate to them these proses because they have meanings. And it honestly, you know, really respect your culture, because I think we've been absolutely privileged to be how our parents brought us up. I still remember, like my Nani Amma, my Nana Abba, and the 3 houses, combined big houses, and you are just like 60 people all of a sudden. And I just now wonder that how did my Nani Amma actually put up with all those kids? You have 3 guests in our place and we go mania. We go crazy. Oh my God, how am I going to manage all this? Dil kushada nahi hai. You've got to have big hearts. My Nani Amma never, if you're counting chapatis, she will slap me and say, don't count chapatis. Oh, shouldn't we know how many guests are going to be here? We should count them. Never count. And ever since then, I have never counted if I've got getting guests. Here it is, we're eating. So this is the culture. I think it's a very rich culture.
As I was mentioning, for the listeners as well, and also the audience, that's such a good voice you have. And you
said, talking wise, yes.
Okay, and probably singing wise as well. So just prove me wrong, or prove yourself wrong as well, by singing a few lines for the listeners and the audience.
Ye aarzu jawa jawa ye chandni धुआं धुआं ये आरज़ू जवां जवां ये चांदनी धुआं धुआं पुकारते फिरे बताओ हम तुम्हें कहाँ कहाँ ये जिंदगी है आज भी तुम्हारे इंतजार में ये जिंदगी है आज भी तुम्हारे इंतजार में तुम नहीं तो कुछ नहीं अपने इख्तियार में तुम नहीं तो कुछ नहीं अपने इख्तियार में धुआं धुआं सा है समा ये आरज़ू जवां जवां ये चांदनी धुआं धुआं पुकारते फिरे बताओ हम तुम्हें कहाँ कहाँ.
Beautiful, beautiful. I don't know who to thank to my mentor, to my friend, or Captain DURDANA ANSARI OBE. So it's amazing to have you here on Knowing Who You Are, and what we have learned and what I've been able to share with the listeners and the audience through you. I think it's an amazing journey, what you had, and also you have taken them to the journey with you today. Is there any concluding message that you'd like to leave for everyone who's listening today?
Well, I would again say that just believe in yourself, watch yourself, and aim for yourself, is to say, and love yourself. That is what people, we just don't want to pay attention to ourselves. I think that there are amazing qualities within us. And once you recognize that, you will see the entire environment around you, the surroundings will be also lightened as well. And just don't pretend. Just be who you are. I think that is something which I always, feel very great and respect. And whoever you believe in, whoever you pray, just have faith in that spirit as well.
Appropriate message for knowing who you are. So thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much, Ershad. I'm very grateful that you thought that I was worthy of sitting here on your sofa.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.